It's Christmas Eve and a good morning to you. And imagine if I spend the whole vlog talking into this microphone. It's actually really early. It's before 8 o'clock in the morning and I don't usually vlog quite this early, but I couldn't sleep in. I tried, but I could not. And I was up before the sunrise. Last night I was out with my friends for our Christmas dinner at Italy and a very fun time was had by all. Of course, I'm a terrible vlogger, so I didn't get video of all the food, but here are our appetizers, which were amazing. I didn't know this. If you have an Italy in your town, let me know if this holds true for you as well. But if you go around to the back, there's like a cool second restaurant, third, whatever number restaurant it is. But the vibe is totally different. It doesn't have that sort of Italy supermarket vibe. It's like the lights are low. It's just like a higher end restaurant. The experience is much more elevated. So we had a really nice dinner there and I got home late. Not super late, but late enough for it to sort of disturb my sleep and thus disturb my morning as well. But it was worth it. So I do apologize for my eyes being red and my face looking messed up. Now, I have not put on any makeup on yet because I got to deliver you guys. I don't know if you saw this in the last vlog, but Currentbody sent me this extremely expensive, I think it's $500 LED mask, which I'm hyped to be using because all of a sudden I have this spot that's popped up and it's right here. So just like this spot, this like age spot, hyperpigmentation, which considering my ethnic background makes sense. I am half Chinese, so Chinese people, Asians, very many of them are very prone to getting these like dark spots right around here, and it looks like I am no exception. So I'm hoping it will help with that, although I've heard these masks, let me get it for you, don't work that well for that particular condition. I don't know if they specifically designed it to give people nightmares, but here we are. Okay, I'm gonna put it on and you're supposed to wear it for 10 minutes. So I'm gonna blast myself with this. Then I'm gonna put some makeup on. Here goes. Oh, just nothing scary to see here at all. Okay, 10 minutes of this. It actually shuts off automatically. We'll crack on with the rest of the vlog. All right, that's a little better. I made myself my second coffee of the morning. Cheers. Okay, so I didn't tell you guys what this was actually, so let's talk a little bit about it. This is the Currentbody Skin LED face mask or mask, and what's kind of cool about this one versus other ones on the market is that it is supple because it is made out of silicone. Some of them are kind of hard and more hockey mask like. This one is softer and it conforms better to the face and is basically understood to be more comfortable to wear. Having said that, I have not tried the other one, so I can't compare them, but that makes sense to me. This is nice and soft and is not uncomfortable when you wear it and not terribly heavy. Inside are a whole bunch of LED sensors, and the point of wearing this and using this for 10 minutes a day is to enhance and create collagen. It's supposed to stimulate collagen production, and this is apparently very well studied and researched. I'm going to do my own research into it, so the whole point of me trying this on today, other than scaring my husband in the hallway, is to see what happens after 30 days. Now, it's meant to stimulate collagen. It is not apparently as good at reducing hyperpigmentation, at least what I've seen from other women describe using these types of devices. But who knows? I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. We're going to see where the fine lines are at. I've got these like 11s as they're called, these lines here. So we'll see what ends up happening after 30 days. So if you want to see that whole review, which obviously I'm only on day 2, so I'm just starting out, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and in a month, so that will be in January, at the end of January, we will do a full 1 month review, and then hopefully I do a review maybe at 6 months point when I've really given it a good chance. Of course, it's just much too early to make any sort of assumptions about how this is going to work, and it is an investment. But if you just want to jump on the bandwagon now, I will put down a link below for this mask. I have a coupon code that Currentbody has kindly given me to give to you, and I believe that is CB for Currentbody, CB Helen. But again, double check it down below in the description box, including a direct link to purchase one. And do your own research. I mean, have a look around if you're curious. This is an investment, obviously, so go ahead and see what other women have said about it. There is another YouTuber who does reviews just on LED products for the face and different sort of sort of like electric stimulation type products, LED masks, the new tone device and stuff like that. So she does a bunch of reviews, and I think her channel's just reviews. And so she gave this actually a thumbs up. She really did like it. And she even has like a 30-day before and after test. So I will drop that down below in the description box as well if I remember to do so. But you know, in the meantime, just gonna go around scaring people. Okay, I'm not gonna wear it now because here's the thing, you're supposed to wear it on clean skin. So I have to do this before my makeup routine in the morning. I just want to show you, I have a new camera and I'm still getting used to it. So I'm like accidentally zooming in and stuff all the time. So bear with me. I just want to show you how bad the weather is outside. Have a look. Can you see? Can you see? Let me flip you around. Look at this. This is, ugh. It's slushy. It's icy. It's everything bad and dramatic right now. So I think it might actually be a mostly indoors day to me. I might try and dash out to the gym and back, but other than that, I don't anticipate going anywhere. Lovely night to just stay in. Pretty sure I'll build a fire later on. Yikes. So one more product that I did want to tell you about that you would have seen in my last vlog that I think is just so lovely. I've given them a very good use over the last few days in between vlogs, and I just think they're amazing. And without any further ado, I shall introduce them. They are these betterfelt slippers. They're so good. I got these at a press event that I went to, and again, you'll see that in my last vlog. And these are just like indoor slippers, right? These ones in particular have a rubber bottom. I gave them to Killian to try to, because we're the same, for this brief moment in time, we actually have the same shoe size. So he kind of wore them one day when his feet were quite cold. He enjoyed them, then I stuck my feet in them. It's best to wear them barefoot. They are just really excellent though. The thermoregulation is just great. Like my feet have not been cold since I have started wearing these. I'm not wearing them at this moment, obviously, but because they're felted wool, which, you know, and wool is a natural fiber, and you guys know I'm always espousing natural fibers, they just keep my feet the perfect temperature without even having to wear socks. I don't know what the magic is, but I guess Mother Nature does it best. The other amazing thing about these is that they are fair trade certified, and that is important to me. I think that is, as I get older in life, I want to spend and invest that little bit more in something that is better quality, artisan made in this case, not just junked off some assembly line. Not to disrespect all the women that do work on, you know, there are so many women that work in fast fashion and they're treated like absolute garbage. They get paid nothing. That is a discussion for another day. But the discussion right now is that the people behind Betterfelt go all the extra mile to get that fair trade certification, which is not easy to get. Apparently it's like pages and pages and pages, not only of paperwork, but other hoops to jump through, as it should be. Because if you can slap fair trade certified on everything, then it doesn't mean very much. But in this case, sorry, I'm holding it at a weird angle where you can just see my towels and my bathrobe in the background, but I'll hold them like this. Aside from them just being really super comfortable, very, very warming on the feet without needing to wear heavy socks or cabin socks or anything like that. You could just slip into them barefoot and it really does keep all the drafts. There are different versions. This is the high boot in gray that I got because I like something a bit higher, but they're easy to put on because there's no fiddly buttons or anything like that. But they have like low slippers. They have the kind you just step into. You know, you've seen the variety of slippers in the world that are on offer, but I will show a little bit of video that I got of this sort of different ones that they have. They have these cute gesture styles. I mean, they have so many cute things. But aside from all that, what I really did appreciate is that, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let me actually, if you look here, there's a tiny stitch, and because this is quite close to the gray color, you won't see it that well, but this tiny stitch, each artisan puts their own little stitch on each pair of slippers. And so what you can do is go to the Betterfelt website and see the artisan by matching the stitch, because each stitch is a different artisan. You can match them up, and here's a look at the lady who made mine, which I think is just a really, really special touch. Amazing for gifts, obviously, and I'm sorry that this is coming to you for Christmas Eve, maybe a little late to order them for Christmas Day, but just in general, maybe there's somebody you missed. Maybe you just want them for yourself, which I think is probably the best gift of all, quite frankly. If you just need to keep your feet warm over the winter season and you live in a drafty old house like I do, look no further than these Betterfelt slippers. This is, of course, not sponsored. I just felt very moved by the cause. I talk about a lot of junky, stupid stuff here, but it feels nice to actually be putting my face and my name and my, you know, vouching for something that is actually an amazing product, works well, and helps to support women artisans in Nepal. So these are Danish felt slippers by the company Betterfelt. All information down below in the description box. Pretty much all the countries that you guys are from, you can order them from. Like if you're from the UK, they've got a website. Canada, they've got a dedicated website. And of course the US, there's a website as well. And yeah, you just get them shipped to your door. They're easy to match to your size. And because they're slippers, there's a bit of give, right? So you don't have to worry so much about the sizing. Just do the best you can, and they will probably fit, because I'm a size 8 and this is 38 and it fits me just absolutely perfectly. So this is a very unglamorous part of my day, but I'm going to sit down. It is now 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to sit down here for an hour, and I like to get a nice good block in. 1 hour, I just sit and work as hard as I possibly can, and I basically don't move until then. What I've got going on is I can't actually give you all the details, because like so many of my writing assignments, I have to sign like non-disclosure agreements and all this kind of stuff, and you'd be surprised the amount of paperwork you've got to do as a freelance writer. Honestly, you are your own admin assistant sometimes. So I've got to fill out the paperwork, get that done, and then get cracking on a manuscript that is going to be about, actually, I can tell you what it's about, even though I can't tell you who it's for or when it's coming out or any of the interesting details about it. Not yet, anyway. But I will share it. Make sure that you sign up for my Substack online publication, because I like to share like my recent writing and stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff that we do here, I also sort of get into in depth and sort of tangents and other fun ways. HelenAvery.substack.com. It's a newsletter. It's completely free. But the subject matter of the article that I'm going to write is about non-alcoholic and zero alcohol drinks and cocktails. And have you been noticing this is a huge trend this season? This Christmas season, I've seen more low alcohol drinks. I've seen like seedlip, zero alcohol gin even at the grocery store. I've seen all manner of zero and low alcohol stuff, and I don't know why, but it is good. I think, sobriety is a new movement for people, or like no alcohol January. I can't remember what that's called. Sober January, something like that. Actually, we have a Finnish friend, my husband and I, who in January would always have a sober month. So, and he was doing this ages and ages ago, and I don't know if it's a Scandinavian thing or a Finnish thing, or it's just particular to him maybe, or he and his friend group. I don't know, but that is what my article is going to be about. So I'm going to be sitting down, and today is just initial research. So I'll be sort of doing a lot of online research, to be honest. I might be sending a few emails. I may be making a few phone calls. And so I am actually waiting on an email to come in. But in the meantime, I thought I would show you guys maybe a little bit of my workflow in terms of how I write. And I promise I'll keep this brief, because I know a lot of you are not super interested in my work as a writer. But just for starters, let's talk about equipment. I use this lovely Mac that I've had for years. Mac and Apple, they have products that are so expensive, but they last for years and years. I expect to get another good 4 years out of this. This is where I sit and do my video editing as well. I use the wireless keyboard and also a wireless mouse. Just helps to keep my desktop a little bit free from clutter. And I just love the size of this. As I age, my eyes bother me. So what you're looking at is an older assignment letter, because I can't show you the one that I have right now. These are 2 stories that I've written already, and they've been up for over a year. They were 2 assignments. So you see it numbered, maybe, I don't know how well you can see it, 1 and 2. And in each of them sort of gives me the directions that I need for, just making sure that I write this according to the directions of my assigning editor. So I wonder if I can copy and paste from here. Oh, it looks like I can a little bit. But this, when I do it this way, it tends to deformat because I'm taking this off a PDF. But anyhow, what I would do is when I get this assignment letter sent to me from my editor, when I go and open a Google Doc, I make a fresh Google Doc for it, and I will put the sort of tentative name. Of course, I would not submit it like this. I would do this all up, but I'm just putting this in here for our learning purposes and some other details about it. I don't have the outlet here because I can't disclose that yet. Sorry to be so secretive, but eventually this will be online and I'll share it with you guys. And then I'll just paste the information that I need. This is not the story that I'm writing because I already wrote this story, but just to show you guys, I don't like to have a blank page. So I find that just having any old thing on here, any words, any directions, just helps me not to be dealing with just staring at a blank page. And from here, I just literally copy paste my assignment, and I will delete that before I submit this, obviously. This helps give me some direction. I might insert a line in here. Hopefully you can see this. I know that sometimes on camera, things can get a little weird looking. So can I insert a line? Let's see. horizontal line. Right, so below here is where I'll do my, I'll do my typing here of my article as it comes along. Yeah, so that's what I'll be doing this morning. So I'm actually just waiting on that email and some paperwork to come through, and I shall sit down and do that. And yeah, so when I'm all done, what I would do is I would just delete this part, because obviously your assigning editor doesn't want to see the exact assignment, they just want the copy, and I would delete this as well. So yeah, that's just my way of making sure I don't deal with too much writer's block in terms of starting with a completely blank page. That is life as a lifestyle journalist. It differs from being an influencer in that we have constraints from other people. In this case, it's a constraint from a publication who's paying me an amount of money. The constraint, of course, is a word count. Other constraints are like who they want me to talk about maybe and who they don't. It's not going to be just things that I choose to talk about. I am working at the behest of the person who has hired me. So it is quite different from the influencing sphere, and I'm not trying to like slag on influencers or anything like that. I'm just saying that they are kind of two different things. And so I shall be turning my attention to that for the next hour, but I will see you later on in the day. Lots to do together. Venturing outside now that my work is done, and oh my goodness, look. Ugh. Now you know why I am such an advocate of galoshes, Wellingtons, rain boots, whatever you want to call them, because we get so much of this kind of weather this time of year. It is so treacherous out here. I am going to try and go around to the front of my house and do a tiny bit of shoveling, because I just want to get rid of the slush, because I don't want anybody to fall down. Not only just walking by my house, but also, the postal carrier will be coming by soon. So I'm just going to do a quick zip back and forth and get rid of some of that snow and slush, because I don't want anybody to fall. But it is not actually below freezing, so I can hear it trickling, so it is melting. So I guess that's good. That was actually quite satisfying to get done. I don't think I'll have time to do the rest because I've got to get on with stuff. And I think it's melting. Actually, I hear lots of drips. So I think actually we're okay. But I just wanted to make sure that the stairs and the walkway and all that stuff was not too slippery. Look at my rosemary. It never fails to surprise me how frost hardy this plant is. I can still trim that usually well into February. I know some people have it year round, but when we get into the deep freeze, it tends to give up the ghost at that point. Ooh, back inside. Now, did I show you guys this? This is just a little impromptu way to hang up wet mittens, wet gloves, wet hats, all that kind of stuff. All you need is twine, and you need some clothes pegs. And honestly, this whole thing will cost you, I don't know, 75 cents maybe altogether. If you don't have like a door to hang this off of, you could even use, or you have like paint that you're worried about. I'm not about this particular door, but if you have like a surface that you're worried about, you can also just use command strips by 3M. You could just put this on hooks or hang it up that way. That way you can just take it off when you're done. But it is actually effective, and it prevents me from having to buy one of those plastic contraptions to put your gloves and your mitts on. It's been working out really well. So in anticipation of using the fireplace tonight, I actually have to clean it out because it has 2 uses. So typically I can use it 2 times and burn wood 2 nights. And then when it's all cooled down, I have to clean it out so I can use it again because it gets full. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. Let me put this down. When you live in an older home like this, I swear there's so much maintenance involved. People are like, you're so lucky, it's so charming, there's so much character in your house, and there is. And I'm wearing gloves because just to protect my hands from getting blackened by the soot. These are already dirty, so I figure why not just make them dirtier. And the cool thing about this fireplace, anyhow, just a segue, while I'm showing you, is that it has all these pieces. Like, it's really well designed for something that is so old. This is original to the house, so it is circa, my husband says the house is from 1917, and I think it was 1912. Neither of us can exactly remember. But anyhow, here's me dumping out the ashes. And I still have some more sweeping and cleaning to do. If you've ever seen these tools for the fireplace and you've wondered what they do, now you know it is to sweep up some of the ash that inevitably gets everywhere. It is a dirty affair having a wood fire. Originally, I think that this fireplace would have burned coal. That's why it's a smaller size. But if you get smaller pieces, I mean, it would not fit a huge log, but the kind of logs that they would sell at like Home Depot and stuff like that, or even at the gas station or convenience stores, to be honest. It's not hard to get wood here. They will fit inside. You really don't have to get it perfect, because here's the thing, it's just gonna get, frankly, just as dirty, if not more dirty. But I do like to give it a good clean out, so at least a huge pile of ashes that was there is all gone. If you are ever in a situation where you're using a fireplace and you don't know fireplace sort of, I guess, behavior that well, I have a really important tip for you, and this is my fire safety advice to you, is you have to wait till the ashes are completely dry if you want to keep the ashes inside the home. I suggest that you don't. I suggest that once you dump out ashes, even if there's the tiniest ember in there that's still alive and it can live a lot longer than you think, if there's even a whisper of that possibility, you need to take the ashes outside, not even put it in the garbage, just figure out a way. You have to store it far away from anything that can burn up. But even better is just to wait, if you can, for it to be completely dead, but never ever store sort of fresh, excuse you, Killian, Killian just sneezed twice, never ever store fresh or warm ashes inside. It's best to just leave them as they are until they're completely dead, which can take over a day. Or if you are going to take them out, take them well away from anywhere where they could ignite anything. And almost everything can be, lit up in a fire, so you have to be super careful. Yeah, just a word of advice from me to you in case you ever find yourself at an Airbnb where you get to use a wooden fireplace. And also don't forget, if you're using a fireplace with wood, there's almost always a flue that you have to open. So be aware of that, or else you will smoke yourself out. And what this flue does is open the chimney so that it can go out. Otherwise it's closed. Otherwise you'd have just all your hot air getting sucked out into the chimney and out all day, all night. So don't forget to open the flue as well. All right, all done now. This is about as clean as I need to get it, because again, I'm just gonna be making this all full of ashes and everything again tonight. So yeah, ready to go. For those of you newer to my channel, you may not know this, but I own, and I am the caretaker of a very old Edwardian era home. The Edwardian era came after the Victorian era, named after Queen Victoria and then King Edward. And this is an era from about, I'm gonna say 100 to about 1930. I could be getting that wrong because my knowledge of the Edwardian era is not that strong. And also, depending on which scholar you talk to, it tends to change a little bit. But let me just show you. Actually, I did make a short about some of the features. This is kind of a silly thing, but I'm going to insert that now. You can see some of the things that I've said about this home. Then I'm going to show you a couple ones that did not make it onto there. So let's look at that first. Things in my 110-year-old house that just make sense. A fireplace in the bedroom so that you can make creepy Edwardian babies. A front door with a slot for letters. A stained glass window in case you want to walk around in your petticoats and you don't want your neighbors to see you. This very skinny and narrow hallway, perfect for if ghosts need to walk back and forth. And on a serious note, another fireplace down on the main level in the living room because there was no central heating back then. Be sure to like and follow for more. And now let me just show you a couple things that I did not mention then, which is that in this home, there's also this, so there's like a front door, right? And then there's also this second door, which is just to keep out drafts, and it is squeaky, excuse the squeak, but you just close this and then it keeps out drafts and also offers just a tiny bit more privacy. Which is nice, but I'll show you my favorite feature of the home, which I don't think I've ever talked about here anywhere else, only to maybe people who have visited me in person in the home. For that, I will have to flip. Love this molding up here. This is actually my favorite thing about the home. This is plaster molding. The walls are still plaster in this home. We never got them all taken out. I mean, there's like one room upstairs that we renovated that has drywall. I hate drywall. I much prefer plaster for all its imperfections. To me, it looks fine. I don't have an issue with that. Some people do. They want it to look perfect and flat. But drywall has a really hollow sound, and plaster has a really heavy, beautiful sort of sound dampening quality. It just feels strong, heavy, very quality. Let me just show you another room. Here is my Christmas tree. It is a fresh, I think, balsam fir, spruce. I'm not exactly sure what the terminology is, but it is a beauty. In this dining room, so you'll see here, it's like, sorry, it's a bit of a mess right now, but in this dining room, there's this beautiful plate rail, and so that's another original feature to the home, and it just edges the entire dining room. I think it's quite nice. Every contractor that we've ever had in here wants to rip out literally every last thing that I've just showed you. They're like, oh yeah, where do you even start? They'll say, looking around, wondering how they can tear out every single wall, every single last bit of plaster, because, this stuff needs maintenance, right? Like, have a look here. This is a bit cracked if you come a bit closer, but I mean, that can be patched up. These things can be repaired. I don't I don't love this idea that just because it's old means you've got to completely destroy it and make it into drywall. North Americans are completely obsessed with drywall, and I think it's just over the top. And I did watch someone, I think from Ukraine, a refugee from the war who was living in a home saying, like, knocking on the wall saying, like, how come everything is hollow here in Canada? And it's true. He's like, when people walk, it sounds hollow. When you hit a wall like this, it sounds completely hollow. And that's true because drywall is hollow inside. And it's not that plaster isn't, it's just much thicker and has, like I said, much more sound dampening, heavy duty, sturdy qualities, but it does get a lot of imperfections. So that is of course the downside. Once you put up drywall, unless you sort of really ding it, it tends to look good for a long time, but it sounds terrible when you knock against it. So I do like the plaster. I don't want to trade that in, but of course, I've always been contemplating a renovation. So, stay tuned to this channel. We'll see where all of that ends up going. Look and see, the sun has come out and everything's melting. Heading out to the gym now, and I apologize for the traffic noise. It is a noisy, busy, trafficy afternoon, but the reason I often talk about going to the gym, and I make kind of a point of mentioning it and showing myself walking there, is I'm trying to normalize it for women. Trying to normalize it for women my age. The gym can be very full of like gym bros basically, but we have a right to be there too, especially if you paid for a membership, even more so. But the gym is for everybody, and it's such a vital part. Like, exercise is such a vital part of our overall general health. Whether you suffer from hair loss, whether you just have any other kind of issue, there is no downside, there are only upside. And now all the traffic noise has died down. It's funny how there can be tons and tons of cars and then all of a sudden none around. Let's have a look. Funny how that is, huh? I am loving this sunshine. This is amazing. If you want to have a lot of fun, go back in my vlogs and see how many times I've said this is a gray day this month for Vlogmas, and you'll be very drunk if you decide to play this drinking game. Trust me, but we're getting some sunshine now. Oh my goodness, bare legs in this weather, yikes. Okay, here's my gym. Here I go. Now, and we've got dinner on the go, just a little red sauce and some pasta, keeping it simple for Friday because we are zonked. These are radiatori, so radiator shaped pasta basically. That should be fun. Just a few more minutes left, 5 minutes left on the timer for that, and a bit of a salad. We've eaten our share and a half of meat this week, so trying to go a little bit meat-free. I am very much the worst for wear. Not pictured was a little bit of painting that we did in our foyer. Is that our foyer? I guess it is, where we hang our coats and stuff like that. So in here we just did a little bit of painting, just quickly, just to tidy things up, and it still doesn't look perfect, but sometimes good is as good as you're gonna get it. Niall, before the pasta timer goes on, why don't you tell me about your epic work?
I mean, I guess I could bitch about my week. It was kind of busy, but that's the life of working as a reporter in Canada. In business, it just gets hairy, and lots of stuff happens at once. And yeah, like today I was leaving messages in Spanish, trying to get people in Panama to call me back. And I actually got a woman on the phone, and I was trying to remember my Spanish. I have about 9 months of Spanish in the archive, and we did stay in a conversation for a few minutes. But in the end, she sort of said, "I don't really understand what you're saying." She said that in Spanish. And I just sort of started laughing and then ended it there. So it went nowhere. Just the kind of day I had. Anyway, it's good to be alive though. So I'm not complaining, and I didn't even have to leave the house to do my work because of remote work. So yeah, it's still good to be alive.
All right, pasta served. I actually have a choice. I'm going to put a big lashing of cheese, either Romano or Parmesan. We don't actually usually have both. I usually just prefer to have Romano in the house, but because we had people over recently, all my family, for a Christmas get-together, I actually have both cheeses, so I get to have my pick. I'm actually going to do Parmesan for a change. Looks good, and it smells good too. All right, now onto the salad. This is not the best salad I've ever made, but I'm running a little bit low on produce, so I just scrapped together lettuce, a few orange segments, and using some leftover baguette for fresh croutons. So I think it is high time for a little bit of a Christmas cocktail. Well, not really a cocktail, just Bailey's on ice. I actually have, this is an actual Bailey's glass. You ever see like when you buy Bailey's and glasses come with it? Got this years ago. So I'm gonna fill it up with a cube of ice and a big healthy pour of Bailey's. I know that this is slightly ironic given that I was just talking about writing a zero alcohol story, but it's on my brain now, so here we are. So here's the Baileys. So you might be wondering, do they drink Baileys in Ireland? And the answer is absolutely they do. Many is the time that I've been offered Baileys at my mother-in-law's home at Christmas time. Niall, you might have heard a little bit of his accent still, that still peeks out, even though he's been in Canada since his 20s. Niall's from Donegal, Ireland. And yeah, we would have Baileys around Christmas time on ice. And it's just, but one of those just like simple pleasures. You just need ice. It's like the best drink around Christmas. I am using a bougie round ice cube. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. The fire is just starting. It's still pretty small. I'm going to throw a log on soon. And I'm here with my Baileys. And it's just a really cozy, comfortable Christmas Eve. I hope that you're also having a nice, cozy, comfortable Christmas Eve, or maybe even Christmas Day when you're watching this. I'm sat now with my betterfelt slippers on. They're just the perfect accompaniment to what's been a long day and a long week, to be honest. And I just want to address something, which is I know that Christmas season can be hard as well. I mean, I'm sort of showcasing some of the things that I enjoy around this time of year. Baileys, simple things, the fireplace, you know, just being with my husband and my son. Yeah, but I know it's not an easy time for everybody for a number of reasons. A lot of things I don't talk about on the channel here just because it involves my other family members who wish to lead a private life, which I totally respect, but we have had loss in my family, unfortunately, this year. And so I know it will be hard for many, many members of my family as well, and for me in my own way as well. But I'm still determined, like Niall said, it's good to be alive. It is good to be alive, so I'm just trying to cherish that today, and I hope that you are too. We're so lucky to have made it through another year at the end of the day, hard though life often is. All right, time for a sip of Baileys after that very heartfelt little monologue. On to something that I think that if you have some time around Christmas, you're gonna wanna read this. I enjoyed this book so much. I think I'm actually gonna read it again. And it is called Declassified, and it is about classical music, which I think is a genre that we just don't think very much about. We think of it all as sort of one chunk. You know, I think it's becoming more obscure. Does that make sense? Like, we know less about it because we care less about it because we're not really a world that immerses itself in the tradition of classical music, unless you have kids in piano classes, unless you are a musical student or just very into music yourself. But generally speaking, a violinist wrote this, a really accomplished violinist who decided not to pursue professional career any further than she had. And she is an amazing writer. The writing is just so sparkling, so fun. I really think that you're going to enjoy it. Definitely borrow it from your library, purchase it if you want a little treat to yourself or maybe somebody else. It's kind of hard to describe. It's nonfiction. It's sort of about her life coming up as a classical violinist. And just about like a lot of the snobbery, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, how to tell the different versions of classical music apart from each other. It is just very easy for anybody who doesn't know that much about music, such as myself, to get into. And when I was reading it, I was like, I wonder now what the author looks like. Because, you know, you ever picture somebody? Well, I flipped to the back of this book and have a look. She's gorgeous. She's an absolute drop-dead beauty, as you may have noticed all violinists are. Is there something about playing the violin that draws the most beautiful women to it? I'm not sure, but everyone I've ever seen at the professional level is a complete knockout. Not to take away, of course, from their incredible skills, but just something about that particular instrument seems to draw a more beautiful than usual person. Or maybe it's because they're so beautiful that they ascend more quickly to the top. I don't know. The world is a messy place, but this book is not messy. This book is very, very good. So I wholeheartedly recommend picking this up by Ariana Warsaw-Fan Rauch. I hope I'm saying that right. So good. Like, brava. An amazing book for someone. I think this is her first book. And, you know, as a writer, sometimes you read things and you're kind of jealous. That's how I felt about this one. Now, one I don't know that I can endorse, but I have been reading, now that this one is finished, is The Queen by Andrew Morton. And I think that this was rushed into sort of publication after the passing of Queen Elizabeth. And, you know, I have not, that's where it's open, and you'll see I'm just sort of pecking away at it a page at a time. It's not compelling me on a very high level. And I read a lot of biography about the royal family. So, I don't know. Time will tell. Maybe stay tuned. Maybe I'll talk about it in the next vlog if it is good. If you never hear me talk about it again, probably because it wasn't very good. I can't believe we're coming to the end of Vlogmas. It's been a really long month. I mean, I gotta hand it to vloggers who do the whole Vlogmas, like day in, day out, up until I think the 24th. I did research it, and traditionally the 24th is the last day of Vlogmas, so I too am going to do it as the last day of Vlogmas. I gotta hand it to them. It is not easy. It is quite labor intensive to sort of remember to take all these shots of all the stuff you're doing in your life. Let's break to put a log on. So yeah, we're nearly at the end. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. So what I'll do at the very end of this is put up my playlist. So if you've missed any of the Vlogmases up to this point so far, I just have them easy to look at a playlist. Feel free to watch them if you've got nothing to do. You're just chilling out on Christmas Day. And of course, I want to talk about, I don't know what the next video is going to be about, but I do know at the end of this year, in terms of my online newsletter, I'm going to be talking about dieting, weight loss. January 1st, you know, people make New Year's resolutions to lose weight, get fit, all that kind of stuff. So I do want to delve into that, and I will definitely in the Substack. I'm not sure if the video is going to be around that same subject matter as well. But yeah, that's what you can look forward to from me. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope that this year has been a good one, and I'm wishing you the best for 2023, for a year of health and prosperity. And cheers. Thanks so much for joining me here, especially if you've watched to this very, very end. Merry Christmas.